guess what? I joined the academic team. I'm the pop culture guy.
Wow, Hank. How's it feel to be the father of a genius?
Bobby's a good kid, but he's no genius. And since when is popular culture considered academic?
Hey, hello, how do you do? Shady Doorags here. I had absolutely no intention of making yet another King of the Hill video so soon. In fact, I have another non-King of the Hill script sitting on my computer, but it needs some major rework before I can record it, and I've fallen behind on releasing content, so I'm doing this instead. Today we're looking at the episode Stress for Success because it is such a good palate cleanser for Bad News Bill. Like, in order to prepare for the Bad News Bill review, I had to watch a few Bobby Joins a Team/Competition episodes, and I was genuinely shocked at how enjoyable this particular one is. The episode starts at Tom Landry Middle School, where Bobby is giving a presentation on, well, it was supposed to be about a US president, but Bobby makes it about Martin Sheen.
Bobby, your assignment was to research an actual president. Martin Sheen is an actor.
Tell that to the 50 million people he helped with his poverty bill.
Later, we see Bobby watching television back at his house when Hank comes in and gets excited that his feeder has attracted a hummingbird. He tries to share the moment with Bobby, but the boy is fixated on the television.
But you don't even have to stand up. Just cock your head a little bit.
What?
Bobby, I know you're a millennial and bad posture was our thing, but you gotta sit up, man. Your back will be very angry at you later on if you don't.
Bobby, what are you doing watching TV? You have an oral report to redo?
Nani? Oh, wait, not everyone's a nerd like I am. When I was a kid, my brain could not fathom wasting time when a school assignment was due, especially if my parents were there. Actually, the funny thing is, my dad used to force me to take breaks from doing my homework.
Your son thought Martin Sheen was a president.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
But his character's based on the real President Bartlett, right?
Bobby, you didn't put Bartlett on the report. You put Martin Sheen. Wait, Bartlett? That's not a president. Who the crap did you do a report on? Oh, wait, so Bobby didn't even get a portrayal of a real president.
See, this is exactly what happens when you watch so much television.
No, it is not. There are plenty of educational things to watch on television. This is what happens when you put no effort into your schoolwork and try to cheese an assignment.
Bobby, turn that off.
I'm freaking driving this over that.
What if I had done that when I was a kid? Yeah, I figured. Hank demands that Bobby get an extracurricular activity to prevent the boy from spending so much time in front of the television. The next day, Bobby attempts to do that, but he gets kicked out of the chess club.
If they don't want you to double jump, they shouldn't play it on a checkers board.
Absolutely none of you care about this, but notice how Bobby called it a checkers board and not a checkerboard or a checkered board, showing that he associates it with that game specifically. Connie laments to Bobby that her extracurricular isn't going so well either. The Quiz Bowl team, which she's a part of, keeps losing due to being clueless on pop culture.
How are we supposed to know what out-of-sight actor got his start on the facts?
George Clooney, everybody knows that.
And with that, Connie realizes that Bobby has a hidden skill. She introduces him to the Quiz Bowl team and gets him to sign up with them as their secret weapon.
Bobby's a pop culture expert.
What actor gave Peter Parker a new face in 2002?
Tobey Maguire.
When I heard that question, in the heat of the moment, I panicked and answered Andrew Garfield. I should never recover from my shame.
Why would we want Booby Hill? So the other teams feel sorry for us?
They already feel sorry for us because you can't remember the atomic weight of lithium.
I need more of this Connie in the reboot, please. By the way, these kids, I would love just a full series of them. Their personalities and chemistry with each other are great.
Bobby's going to be our secret weapon.
He's not a math guy, is he? Because I'm the math guy, right?
That's me when I play D&D. We already have a rogue. Choose a different class. I need to feel special.
Ernie, ask him that one you didn't know.
You didn't know it either.
Completely unnecessary response, while at the same time being totally necessary.
Dawn, American Lit. Just so you know, you should bring your own pen. We have a thing about pens.
Felt that. At my last warehouse job, we constantly used pens and it was a mess. People would lose theirs and borrow them from each other, and it was a gamble if you'd ever get a good one. Eventually, I just started buying my own and bringing them to work, which of course turned me into the pen guy since I always had good ones on me. Later in the alley, Hank is bragging to the boys about how he made Bobby join a club so he'd watch less television.
How do you know he's not watching TV at someone else's house?
That's a good point, Bill.
They keep making TVs smaller and smaller and bigger. Soon the medium TV is going to be a thing of the past.
True, but they'll be replaced with computer monitors. Bobby shows up and informs Hank and the boys of him joining the Quiz Bowl team as their pop culture expert.
Give me a name.
Michael Keaton.
Mr. Mom, Gung Ho, Beetlejuice with Winona Ryder, Batman Returns, and the place it all started, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Not gonna lie, that is extremely impressive. I am legit jealous like crazy. While the boys are impressed with Bobby, Hank is annoyed that schools now consider pop culture to be an important topic.
What kind of job can you get with a degree in pop culture?
You can be a professor of pop culture.
And now we know where modern useless degrees got started. We cut to Bobby's first actual quiz bowl where the kids are getting ready to compete. Bobby is excited, but his teammates are stressed.
Ready to kick some dent in brain?
Can't you see I'm trying to remember the quadratic formula?
You know, there's a meme about how you never forget the quadratic formula, but I did forget, which is weird because math was always my favorite subject. I took it up to Calc 3 in linear algebra.
Which is more appropriate, air horn or thunder sticks?
What, Bobby on team? Quiz bowl for top of food chain, not sea student plankton.
I should be annoyed that Khan is once again being unnecessarily mean to Bobby, but I'm just so doggone glad to hear his actual voice. Peggy, I'm docking you points though. You are uncharacteristically quiet after someone insulted your family member. Also, where's Min?
Today's match features Denton versus Tom Landry. Please test your buzzers.
Ben Stein has literally one performance, and yet he's somehow always perfectly casted. So the competition gets going, and Tom Landry gets into the zone.
Who of the following is not a Starfleet captain? Picard, Janeway, or Data?
Data!
Okay, I know this is supposed to be Bobby's moment to shine, but if there was one pop culture question I would think a group of nerds could answer, it would be a Star Trek one. Just because they're nerds doesn't mean they're geeks, Shady. The competition ends with Tom Landry sweeping, largely thanks to Bobby's contribution. Okay, this is annoying me. What on earth do these team names mean? Okay, so dendrite has many definitions, but I'm guessing the one that applies here is the branch of neurons that receive and transmit information, while a laureate is someone who is honored for their achievement. I would have felt smart if I had gotten those references.
Just super. With proper training, Bobby could lead the team to the championship.
Switched up real quick there. Wait, proper training? The boy cleaned house. Later, back on Rainy Street.
Hey, Dad, we won! You should have seen it.
You know, I wanted Bobby to become the kind of kid who did stuff after school, but the stuff after school is just becoming more like Bobby.
Now, on the one hand, I empathize with Hank's frustration. Bobby's interest with pop culture was shown to be harming the boy's life, and Hank was trying to fix that problem. So it's understandable that he'd be frustrated Bobby somehow found a school activity that pushes him further down the rabbit hole. Not to mention, there are indeed fields of study that people think are shameful to pursue, even successfully.
I just want to sing, and I will.
Enough! Singing is for birds and sissies.
On the other hand, Hank constantly acts like there is zero value in Bobby understanding pop culture. Being someone who makes a living off of his knowledge of pop culture, I obviously disagree with this. But even if we ignore my career, I hold the belief that every skill, no matter how traditionally useless, can be valuable to yourself and or society if you apply it to your life correctly. At his next meeting, Bobby continues to be praised by the other kids. However, the Quiz Bowl coach, they never say this guy's name, at least not in this episode.
But our Quiz Bowl team keeps losing, and now Coach Grandy is making us do mind sprints after school.
The Quiz Bowl coach switches the mood by pointing out that even though the kids were good, they weren't perfect. He gives them all books to help them expand their knowledge, including Bobby, who gets to read magazines.
You better start reading or watching or whatever you do, because we're counting on you.
Nobody's ever counted on me before.
Bobby, you've had multiple jobs before and you were part of the track team. Shoot, you helped that track team win the championship. And it's at this point Bobby starts to take things seriously. He focuses intensely on television harder than ever and makes requests from Hank and Peggy for new cable channels and other things that'll help him.
I can't believe you're serving him breakfast in bed. The whole point was to get him out of the house.
We are parents of a gifted child now. It is our responsibility to nurture him.
Later at school, Bobby gets congratulated by Principal Moss, who lets it slip that Quiz Bowl was very close to being terminated. This news upsets the coach, who tells Bobby that he too is relying on the kids to win.
Quiz Bowl is all I have. Bobby, I'm counting on you to lead us to victory. Remember, there's trying and there's trying harder. Try harder, Bobby.
I mean, as toxic as that mentality can be, it is the one you need to have if you want to be the best of the best at something. That being said, I really don't like when kids are put under this kind of pressure. Adulthood is stressful enough. We don't have to make kids' lives more miserable. It especially doesn't make sense for Bobby since he's already getting every question correct. He doesn't need to try harder. If it ain't broken all that. Later at practice.
Sine?
No, cosine.
Dang it. Dang it.
See, that right there. How his entire self-worth collapsed because he made a mistake. That is something I have a hard time watching kids go through.
Dylan McDermott.
No, Dermot Mulrooney.
Oh, someone needs a name change, am I right?
Hey, what's your problem?
I'm trying, I just goofed.
You can't make mistakes, Bobby. You just can't.
Oh, goodness, this is so much better than what happened in To Sirloin with Love. Here, the kids don't tell Bobby to leave, they pressure him to improve. Bobby may have made a mistake, but he's still the best one there to take on the pop culture questions. While the kids may be upset, they still recognize that the team needs him. Also, unlike the meat graders, these kids aren't hypocritical. They all expect each other to be perfect all the time, not just Bobby. Yes, they do gang up on Bobby, but that's likely because, unlike To Sirloin with Love, where he immediately felt guilty after getting a question wrong, here Bobby tried to brush things off, which showed he wasn't taking his failure as seriously as everyone else was. The group didn't have to gang up on the math kid because he already beats himself up whenever he fails. All of this just feels so much more organic and believable than what happened in the series finale. So the stress continues to influence Bobby, who gets more and more into what he's doing.
Man, Quiz Bowl is getting tough.
Yeah, it's real hard sitting around watching TV.
Okay, Hank, I really don't appreciate your tone. If you're gonna judge what Bobby's doing, at least try to understand it. You haven't been to a single one of his events. Yes, watching TV in itself is easy, but Bobby's not doing just that. He's retaining the information and flawlessly returning it in a time-sensitive manner. If what Bobby is doing is so easy, why could none of the geniuses on his team also do it?
They broke up? I haven't even read the one where they got together.
Not to shortchange the other kids nor their academic subjects, but I feel like Bobby got the shortest end of the stick on his team. New information about pop culture is being revealed virtually every day, if not every moment. That's even more true now with social media being so prevalent. It's not humanly possible to keep up with it all, let alone retain the information.
Bobby Hill, come on down. How much you pay for fabulous mini fridge stocked with Red Bull and Mountain Dew? Nothing!
Good reference, Con.
Why?
Because you're the key to getting Shane into the school of his choice, Stanford.
Connie choose Harvard.
For their doctorates? Because that's not where either of them wind up going for their bachelors.
Everything on your shoulders.
The next competition happens in, hold up, memory retention. Okay, I'm really liking these names, even if I'm too dumb to get them.
We have a tiebreaker. The winner will face Dirndl in the district finals.
It's so weird to me. Like, I have issues with Jack McBrayer because he does the same voice every performance, making it seem like he's easy to cast. But Ben Stein has that exact gimmick, yet I love whenever he shows up. Meh, I choose to blame the Pixies.
If this place were any less fun, it would need a librarian.
The tiebreaker category is revealed to be the Grammys, meaning it's all on Bobby's shoulders to win. This part does a great job at being tense, as well as showcasing the stress Bobby is going through. Despite it all, he does wind up answering the question correctly. Later, as Bobby is studying, oh, that was a weird sentence to say.
Read about how we fix it in post in the companion book.
Oh, companion book.
Bobby, are you not scared you're gonna forget what the companion book is for? You didn't write that part down. Hank tells Bobby he's going to the Megalomart, and Bobby tags along to pick up some research material. Again, that feels very weird to say.
I never noticed these before. I guess they're trying to make shopping fun. It's working!
I know y'all loathe her, but I just can't. On his way to his items, Bobby sees televisions on display and becomes overwhelmed. This results in him collapsing in the store. He wakes up in the clinic area and is diagnosed by both the store staff and a doctor to have had a panic attack.
Doctor, he's in middle school. What does he have to panic about?
Oh, Hank, you just touched on a massive annoyance of mine. See, King of the Hill loves its stereotypes, and Hank is slightly perpetuating the stereotype of a conservative parent. In that, while they love kids and care about their well-being, they have a tendency to dismiss what kids kids find concerning.
Isn't that all parents in general?
Well, parents often will butt heads with their kids. That's just the natural order of things. But I'm talking about a specific stereotype where the parent doesn't even try to understand what the kid is going through, with the reasoning being that because they are a kid, whatever they're concerned about must not be a big deal. You know, a lack of empathy.
So I said, Mom, what are you doing? You ruined my rap. She said, you're only 16. You don't have a rep yet.
I've personally seen this mentality in action, and it very much gets under my skin. I mean, don't get me wrong, kids often do have frivolous things that they worry about, but that doesn't mean said worries will always be frivolous, and even if they are, those concerns can still affect a person's psyche. Ultimately, I just think it's important that adults listen to the kids in their lives and make an effort to understand them, even if what the kid is saying winds up being of little consequence, which admittedly can often be the case.
Teen stress is a very serious problem.
Well, what do you recommend? Icy hot?
No, you can't just put ointment on this, Mr. Hill.
So the Hills start working on treating Bobby's anxiety problems.
It says here that what Bobby needs is a lifestyle change. Their words, my emphasis.
The dialogue in this episode is just fantastic. And you know what? That's not even that narcissistic of Peggy, because when I'm writing scripts, I do have to put work into which words I emphasize. You intellectuals don't know how many re-records I've done simply because I stressed the wrong word. Simply because I stressed the wrong word. Simply because I stressed the wrong word.
We have to create a stress-free environment or a safe zone.
Oh, so those were a thing before the 2010s. People just co-opted them. What is that, like the 920th time?
If you need me to build something, I've still got those old treehouse designs.
No. It involves things like positive affirmation. Hank, compliment him.
Okay.
I appreciate that even though Hank had a hard time believing Bobby was stressed, now that he does, he's fully cooperative in making the boy better. It would have been just as in character for Hank to insist that this advice was nonsense, and Bobby just needs to get over things. Hank and Peggy do their best to create a relaxing environment for Bobby.
It's okay, Bobby. Everything is very safe. We're going to take— Ow!
Oof, I did something like that once when I was trying to calm my crying nephew down. What I was doing was starting to work, but then I slipped, and because I was holding on to him, my grip increased. I didn't hurt him, but I no longer felt calming, so he started crying again.
Your legs feel like spaghetti.
What kind of spaghetti? Fettuccine? Angel hair?
Bobby, you listed other noodles, which means none of those would be spaghetti. Later in the alley, Hank and the boys discuss Bobby's predicament.
Well, it's tough being a kid these days, Hank.
Heck, 100 years ago, kids were working in pork factories and coal mines. Is it that bad now?
I mean, yes and no, Hank. Stress is psychological, meaning that it's not about the reality of your situation, but how you perceive things. And when you grow up in a relatively safe environment, less intense situations feel like they're more, especially for someone like Bobby, who goes out of his way to lead a stress-free life. Hank goes to check up on Bobby, who's starting to feel like all this relaxing is pointless.
I keep thinking about movies and music and Quiz Bowl, and if I screw up, nobody goes to college and Shane never gets his trust fund, I need to quit. I quit! This is a miracle. Nobody ever has to count on me again.
Yeah, not hard to deduce, but I should probably point it out anyway. Bobby himself never actually cared about winning, and when you think about it, he doesn't really get anything out of it. In fact, he only joined the Quiz Bowl team because of Hank and Connie. The stress that Bobby is feeling now comes from the fact that his failure could negatively affect other people, and boy do I relate to that. Unfortunately, Bobby doesn't realize that quitting is just another form of letting those same people down. Hank, however, does.
Bobby, I don't think you should quit.
But you said this pop culture stuff was stupid.
Well, it is, but you made a commitment to your team and you should honor it.
To be clear, if something is causing you so much stress that it's become a danger to your health and you're not getting anything out of it, the majority of the time, it's a good idea to quit doing that thing. However, in this specific case, Hank makes a good point. Bobby shouldn't just quit when things get stressful, especially when other people are counting on him. His team only has one competition to go, and there's no way they'd be able to replace him at this point. Not to mention, he accepted Con and Ted's physical investment into him. The boy definitely shouldn't sign up for Quiz Bowl again, but it's only fair that he stick this one out.
Well, you might not believe this, Bobby, but I get stressed all the time.
You?
Stress isn't bad, Bobby. What's bad is letting stress make your life miserable.
And this right here is why I love this episode so much. Hank has made it clear he doesn't agree with Bobby doing Quiz Bowl. He still thinks being an expert in pop culture is nonsense, but that belief doesn't stop him from teaching his son proper lessons about life. And it's a great lesson that I agree with. Don't let stress control you. That obviously means not destroying yourself to accomplish a goal, but it also includes not avoiding responsibilities that might come with stress.
The big match is tomorrow.
You can handle this, Bobby, and I'll help you.
The episode ends with the Hills watching the Beverly Hillbillies, and Bobby is finally able to relax. Why? Because Hank brings him back to how Bobby got into pop culture in the first place, simply enjoying a moment. Remember, the episode started with Hank asking Bobby to participate in his hobby, and here it ends with both of them enjoying Bobby's. And that was Stress for Success. One of my new favorite episodes, to be honest. I love me a good Hank and Bobby bonding moment, and this episode really brings that home with the final scene. Not only that, but the themes and lessons that are taught here are great. For Bobby, it was knowing how to deal with stress. And for Hank, even though he never truly saw the value of pop culture knowledge, he stopped caring about that and started focusing on helping his son. He also realized that even if he doesn't understand Bobby, he understands that what the boy is going through is stressful, at least from his perspective. I wasn't planning on reviewing this episode, but doing so really helped remind me of things I like most when it comes to King of the Hill. After all the subpar to downright awful moments in the show that I've had to sit through recently, it was refreshing to take a look at an episode that's way less stressful. This has been Shady Doorags. So long. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.